Do you ever wake up one morning, look in the mirror and think, when did I start feeling this old? Your energy's not what it used to be, your motivation dips, your muscles seem softer, and your drive, both in life and in the bedroom, feels distant. You might assume it's just age catching up. But what if it isn't? What if there's something silently robbing you of your strength, your confidence, and your manhood, and it's happening every single day without you realizing it? That's what I call the hidden testosterone killer. And trust me, most men over 60 are surrounded by it. It doesn't come in a bottle, it's not in your food labels, and no doctor has probably warned you about it. But it's real, and it's draining your masculinity drop by drop. I remember one of my longtime patients, Harold, 67 years old. He came to me saying, "Doc, I'm just tired. I used to jog every morning, now I barely make it to the mailbox." He'd also noticed something else. His mood was flat, his muscle tone fading, and intimacy had become a memory. He thought his testosterone had just aged out. But as I told him, age doesn't kill your testosterone, something else does. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and for over 30 years, I've helped men restore their vitality naturally, without gimmicks, prescriptions, or false promises. What I've seen time and again is that the body doesn't give up on you. It just needs you to stop feeding the silent enemy that's breaking you down from the inside out. This hidden testosterone killer doesn't just lower your T levels, it sabotages your sleep, makes it harder to lose weight, and even confuses your brain's ability to tell your body, hey, it's time to make more testosterone. It's a chemical disruptor, a stress amplifier, and an inflammation trigger all in one. And here's the kicker, it hides in plain sight. For Harold, the culprit turned out to be his nightly habit. Something as harmless as scrolling through his phone in bed for an hour before sleep. The blue light, the stress of negative news, the disrupted sleep, all of it combined to wreck his hormone balance. His cortisol shot up, his testosterone tanked, and within months, his energy followed. I'll explain why that happens. See, testosterone and cortisol are like two ends of a seesaw. When one goes up, the other drops. Cortisol, your stress hormone, spikes when you're worried, overstimulated, or not resting deeply. And once cortisol dominates, testosterone production shuts down. Your body thinks it's under attack, not at rest. So when Harold's nights were filled with screen light, late-night worry, and restless tossing, his body never entered true recovery mode. His cells couldn't recharge, his testosterone couldn't rebuild, and his metabolism slowed to a crawl. The change began when I asked him to try something simple. Shut off all screens 2 hours before bed and replace them with quiet reading and gentle breathing. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping better. Within a month, his energy was back. And within 3, his blood work showed a 28% increase in free testosterone, all without a single supplement. Now, you might be wondering, can something that small really make that much difference? The answer is yes, especially at our age, because men over 60 are more sensitive to stress signals. Your body doesn't recover from nightly overstimulation the way it did in your 30s or 40s. And when you keep triggering stress, you're quietly suffocating your testosterone. And here's where it gets even more surprising. The same silent killer that hurt Harold is probably affecting you too, but maybe not from screens. It might come from constant background stress, late-night eating, or even those so-called healthy habits that raise inflammation instead of reducing it. Before I tell you how to spot your own hidden testosterone killer, I want to ask you something. Have you been feeling more tired than usual? Maybe your motivation's slipping, your patience is shorter, or your confidence feels off? If you're nodding right now, I'd love for you to type yes in the comments below, because when you do, it helps me and my team understand what's really happening for men like you, and I personally review your responses to guide future advice that fits your life. And if this message is already hitting home, do me a favor, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. I promise, every video I make is designed to help men your age reclaim energy, passion, and purpose naturally and safely. Now, back to Harold. Once his sleep was restored, he began to notice something remarkable. His morning energy came back. He started feeling sharper, hungrier for life again. And his wife, after years of quiet distance, looked at him one morning and said, "You look different." That spark in her eyes told him all he needed to know. His vitality was back. And that's when I told him something I tell every man. Testosterone doesn't disappear with age, it retreats when your body's overwhelmed. Once you remove the hidden killer, your body can finally breathe again. When Harold first started realizing that his spark was fading, he didn't notice it all at once. It crept in slowly. He told me, "Doc, it's not like I woke up one day and felt old. It's like my energy just slipped away, 1 week at a time." And that's how this hidden testosterone killer works. It's quiet, steady, and sneaky. You don't feel it coming until it's already running your life. Now, here's something most men don't realize. Your body is constantly listening to your environment. Every sound, every light, every bite of food, every bit of stress, it's all data. And that data tells your hormones how to behave. So when your surroundings are filled with constant noise, artificial light, processed food, and low-level anxiety, your body starts sending the wrong messages. It says, "We're under threat. Hold back testosterone. Stay safe." One day, I asked Harold to keep a small notebook and jot down what drained him most each day. It wasn't the big things. He wasn't running marathons or pulling all-nighters. It was the tiny things. Late-night snacking, skipping breakfast, worrying about bills before bed, arguing with the TV news. Each of these little moments raised his cortisol and chipped away at his hormone balance. And here's the surprising truth. Your body treats mental stress and physical danger the same way. So even if you're sitting comfortably in your recliner, if your mind is racing, your body acts as though you're being chased. It shuts down testosterone production, diverts energy to survival mode, and you're left wondering why you feel so weak, foggy, or uninterested in intimacy. Now, I don't want you to think it's hopeless, because once Harold started noticing these small stress points, everything changed. He told me one morning, "Doc, I think I've been fighting my own body without realizing it." And that's when we started the reset. The first thing I had him do was something simple, something you can do tonight. Before bed, instead of checking his phone or worrying, I told him to spend 5 quiet minutes just breathing deeply, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sounds small, right? But that simple act lowers cortisol and tells your body you're safe, you can rest now. And rest, my friend, is the foundation of testosterone. No supplement or shot can replace what real rest does for your body. When you sleep deeply and wake up refreshed, your body releases growth hormones, repairs tissues, and primes your system to produce more testosterone naturally. Within 2 weeks of this small change, Harold started waking up with more morning energy, and yes, more of that healthy male drive that had been missing for years. It wasn't magic, it was balance returning to his system. But there's another piece to this puzzle that most men overlook, and it's sitting in their pantry. Many of the foods we eat daily, especially the so-called healthy ones, are loaded with estrogen-mimicking compounds. These are chemicals that confuse your body into thinking it has enough sex hormones, so it shuts off testosterone production. I call them hormone imposters. They hide in plastic containers, processed foods, and even some cooking oils. Things like soybean oil, canola oil, and certain packaged snacks are full of these disruptors. You eat them, and over time, they quietly rewire your hormone balance. When Harold heard that, he laughed and said, "Doc, are you telling me my salad dressing is stealing my manhood?" And I said, "In a way, yes. Because when you pour dressing made with processed oils onto your food every day, you're inviting the enemy inside." So I asked him to make one swap, just one. Replace those processed oils with olive oil or avocado oil. Within a month,
He said, "Doc, I can't believe how different I feel. My energy's steady all day. I don't crash after lunch anymore." His blood pressure improved, his waistline shrank slightly, and most importantly, his testosterone levels started climbing again. Now, before I go further, I want to pause for a second and speak to you directly. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've been feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or not quite yourself lately, I want you to do two things right now. First, hit that like button if you're finding this helpful. It tells me you care about your health and helps me reach more men who need this message. And second, drop a yes in the comments if you've noticed any of these symptoms: low energy, poor sleep, or fading drive. I personally look through your comments, and your answers help me shape the next videos so they fit you. Now, I want you to remember something. Testosterone isn't just about bedroom performance. It's your life force. It's what keeps your bones strong, your mood stable, and your motivation high. When testosterone dips, everything feels harder. Getting out of bed, focusing, even smiling. That's why identifying and removing these hidden killers is so important. Because when you do, your body doesn't need drugs or complicated treatments. It knows exactly how to heal itself. You just need to clear the roadblocks. So think about your own habits right now. What's quietly draining your vitality? Maybe it's screen time before bed, processed foods, constant worry, or even the clutter of everyday life that keeps your body in survival mode. Because every single one of those adds up, and every single one of them can be undone. When Harold started taking charge, cleaning up his meals, cutting off screens early, and spending time outdoors each morning, his energy became unstoppable. He called me one afternoon laughing, saying, "Doc, I just beat my grandson in a push-up contest. First time in years I didn't feel like an old man."
When Harold started seeing results, he felt like he'd been given a second chance. He said, "Doc, I thought my body was done for, but it turns out it was just trying to tell me something." And he was right. See, the body never truly gives up. It simply adapts to the conditions we create for it. When those conditions are stressful, toxic, or unbalanced, your testosterone takes the hit. That brings me to something I call the invisible environment effect. It's not just about what you eat or how much you sleep, it's about what surrounds you every day. For men over 60, the environment we live in can either rebuild your hormones or quietly tear them down. Let me explain. Your skin, lungs, and eyes are constantly communicating with your brain. When you're exposed to artificial light, chemical sprays, or even stale indoor air, your body interprets those as stress signals. Over time, your nervous system becomes overstimulated. You stop producing enough melatonin at night, your cortisol stays high, and your testosterone quietly plummets. Harold used to live in a small apartment filled with artificial light. The blinds were always closed, and the television stayed on from morning to night. When I visited him once, I noticed he barely got any natural sunlight. His internal clock, the one that regulates hormones, was completely out of sync. So we made another small shift. I told him, "Harold, before you touch your phone, before you turn on the TV, step outside. Let the morning light hit your eyes for 5 minutes." Sunlight, especially in the early morning, tells your brain it's time to wake up. It's time to produce testosterone. That simple act of sunlight exposure resets your circadian rhythm, helping your body balance melatonin at night and testosterone during the day. Within 2 weeks of doing this, Harold said, "Doc, I can't explain it, but I feel alive in the mornings again." There's a reason for that. Sunlight boosts your vitamin D levels, which is a critical hormone precursor. Without it, your body simply can't produce testosterone efficiently. And here's something interesting. Many men I've treated who thought they had low T were just vitamin D deficient. Once we fixed that, their natural levels rose without a single injection. Now, as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D, so even a little daily sunlight can make a huge difference. But here's the key: don't overdo it.
Just 5 to 10 minutes each morning is enough. And if you live somewhere cloudy or cold, make sure you're getting your vitamin D3 from your diet or a good supplement your doctor approves of. But the environment isn't just light. It's also the air you breathe. Indoor air quality plays a bigger role in your hormones than most people realize. Air fresheners, scented candles, cleaning sprays, all of them release synthetic compounds called phthalates. These chemicals mimic estrogen in your body and block testosterone production. Harold loved his air fresheners. He said, "Doc, I like my place smelling like lavender." But when we replaced those with natural essential oils and added a small air purifier, he noticed something shocking. Fewer headaches, better sleep, and sharper focus. His body was finally catching a break from years of invisible chemical stress. These aren't just health tips. They're small, meaningful adjustments that tell your body it's safe again. And safety is the foundation of hormone balance. Because when your brain feels calm, your stress hormones drop and your testosterone gets permission to rise. Now, if you're watching this right now, I want you to look around your space. How much natural light do you get during the day? Do you use artificial scents or sleep near electronics that glow all night? These tiny things matter more than most men ever realize. And let me say this, if you're finding this message helpful, if it's opening your eyes to what's been happening in your own life, please tap that like button and subscribe to the channel. I read through every comment myself, so if you've experienced any of these hidden stressors, drop a quick yes below. It lets me know we're walking this path together, and your feedback shapes what I share next. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Dr. Easton, this sounds too simple. But let me tell you something. The biggest changes in a man's health rarely come from complex routines or fancy products. They come from removing what's been quietly hurting you all along. When Harold started paying attention to his environment, more sunlight, cleaner air, better rest, his body started responding like clockwork. His lab results improved, his mood lifted, and one morning he told me, "Doc, I woke up feeling 40 again. My wife can't believe the difference." That's when I reminded him. And now I want to remind you. Testosterone is your signal of vitality. When it's low, it's your body's way of saying something in your environment isn't right. But when it rises again, it's proof that your system still works, your cells still listen, and your strength is still yours to reclaim.
When Harold came in for his 6-month follow-up, he looked like a different man. His posture was upright, his face had color again, and his voice carried that quiet confidence that every man deserves to feel. He said, "Doc, I never realized how much my thoughts were killing my testosterone." That statement hit me hard because it's the truth most men never see. You can eat right, sleep well, even exercise daily, but if your mind is stuck in worry, guilt, or hopelessness, your body never gets the signal to thrive. That's the final and most powerful hidden testosterone killer, mental tension. See, your mind and hormones are in constant conversation. Every thought you have sends signals through your nervous system, telling your body what kind of chemistry to create. Positive, calm thoughts promote healing and testosterone production, but negative thoughts, fear, shame, or constant worry raise cortisol, your stress hormone, and block testosterone at the source. Harold admitted he'd spent years replaying regrets in his mind. Times he felt he could have done more for his family, or when he didn't feel man enough. He thought those memories were harmless, but they were quietly keeping his body in survival mode. And when you live in survival mode, your testosterone doesn't stand a chance. So I gave him one final prescription, not a pill, not a supplement, but a daily ritual. Every morning, before coffee, I told him to sit quietly for 3 minutes and speak gratitude out loud. Simple things. I'm thankful for this sunrise. I'm thankful for my strength. I'm thankful I'm still here.
It might sound small, but here's what happens. When you express gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that lower cortisol and create the perfect hormonal environment for testosterone to rise. Within a few weeks, Harold said he felt lighter, happier, and surprisingly, more alive. And you know what? That sense of peace carried over into every area of his life. His blood pressure stabilized, his focus sharpened, and his energy no longer felt like a roller coaster. He told me, "Doc, I finally understand. Testosterone isn't just a number on a lab test, it's how alive you feel inside." He was absolutely right. I've seen it hundreds of times, men over 60 regaining their spark, not from new medications or strict diets, but from changing how they treat themselves. Your body listens to how you talk to it. If you tell yourself you're weak, tired, or past your prime, your body believes it. But if you start saying, "I'm healing, I'm strong, I'm coming back," your body answers in kind. And let's be honest, aging doesn't take away your masculinity. It reveals it. It shows the strength of your character, the depth of your experience, and the quiet power that only men who've lived long enough can truly carry. If you're watching this right now and you felt the fatigue, the frustration, or the fading drive that comes with low testosterone, I want to speak directly to you. You are not broken. Your body is not finished. You've simply been surrounded by silent killers, stress, chemicals, poor rest, and negative thoughts that can be undone. Starting today, I want you to take back control. Wake up with gratitude. Step outside for sunlight. Eat foods that nourish your hormones. Cut off screens before bed, and most importantly, treat your mind with kindness. Because when your mind feels safe, your body feels strong again. And if this message resonated with you today, take a second right now, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss my next talk. I read your comments personally, so if you're ready to reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your manhood, type a strong yes below. It's more than a comment. It's your first step toward renewal. I leave you with something Harold told me during his last visit. He said, "Doc, I used to think getting old meant fading away. Now I realize it just means learning to do things differently." He's right. You don't stop being a man because you age. You become a wiser one. And when you honor your body, mind, and spirit, your testosterone and your vitality follow naturally.